Welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in and check out your boy, P-Fong. Thinking right out here in the lab what I do for you. Oh, I got a good one for you again today, but I'm picking up some good ones. Hope you like the message I'm giving for you. Let's go. Rightism, 25 rules to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in the story for life, even in the afterlife. You tuning in. I appreciate you tuning in. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right Thinker's mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right Thinker's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline practiced daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I ask you the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have an answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. I appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. And thinkers know thyself. And to Maya, be true. Right thinkers. I've been in the book, got some good stuff. I picked out a good one. The title is What to Do with the Body After Death. You got a few choices. Let's talk about it. Oh, this is some good stuff. I got a whole different understanding of dealing with death after going through these lessons now. It's funny because I'm reliving it and I'm realizing, yeah, this is what it's all about. So it's a good lesson. But the title is Right Thinkers, The Body of the Deceased, The Metaphysics of the Astral Plane, and the Transcendent Beyond. Should be interesting. Let's go. That's my point. All right, there's a lot of stuff going on here. But first of all, understand, once a person dies, okay, now comes the issue of what? What should be done with the body? Oh, no. The body of the deceased was the instrument used by that person to perform actions in the physical realm. Remember, we're spiritual beings. We come here to have a human experience. So the body belongs to who? Let's talk about it. It is no longer what needed. The body like clothes. Every day you put on different. The spirit wears bodies for however long that body lasts. When they take it off, if it don't get enlightened, it's going to get new body, new clothing. Okay, that's the concept. So now that the soul has what? Has flown away and to continue its eternal journey, meaning it's going two ways, one of two ways. It's going to hang around to get into another physical body to have a continue the journey to it what? Knows itself so it can go home when the body ceases, or it's going to what? Reincarnate and come back again like it just did until they get it right. So the purpose of coming here in a physical form, for all those who still question, why are we here? Know thyself. There are two main traditions, all right, in which Netarian theology and the Anuian and the Asarian, this implies one is solar, sun, one is lunar for the moon, respectively, and Ra obviously symbolizes the sun, and Asar is the moon. Thus, there are two possibilities prescribed by the Cremate teachings for what? Obtaining enlightenment. And also for what? The disposal of the physical body after death. They're going to lay it all out for you. Watch this. Now, as there are two main paths of the divine. You keep hearing this too, right? She don't go nowhere, okay? She's at everything. After the 1, 2 is what you're going to get. That's my girl. Watch this. Now, because you need to have an option. One ain't an option. Moving on. God is not an option. Everything else is optional. Conception. That's just my concept about that. All right. So where we at? Symbolically. Watch this. Now, the Anuian implies, okay, did that. So there, again, here we go. There are 2 possibilities that's prescribed by the Crematic teachings for obtaining enlightenment. Again, as even for the disposal of the body. I did that. Okay, that's why I stopped. Excuse me. And watch this. As there are, again, 2 main paths to divine, which are promoted in what? The Per Imheru. That was our Bible. We had a book of knowledge and understanding information. Same thing as that book that I call the Bible. Okay? So the Assyrian and the Atumian, meaning Atum Ra concept. So 2 are what? 2 different traditions for what? Disposal of the body of the deceased. Watch this now. In the case of the Assyrian, there is the tradition of burial. You see pyramid text, utterance 261, the coffin text 288, the burial, okay? Coffin text 246, and the pyramid text utterance 332, and the chapter 23 and chapter 26. And in the case of the Atumian, remember Atum Ra, cremation. When you hear Ra, Ra's that thing up in the sky. Fire. Cremation. Sound familiar? Okay. Philosophically, watch this. Here we go now. I don't get into belief. I do once I understand. And when it makes sense, I ain't got a problem with something that don't make sense. If it don't make sense, I'm going to argue. So don't get mad. I'm just going to try to ask questions about something that I try to follow along. It don't make sense. So I try to make sense when I'm talking. So if I don't, let me know, please. But watch this. Here we go. Cremation. When you hear Ra, you know cremation is in the mix. Why? Fire. You see the coffin, invocation, utterance 46. And since Atum Ra relates to here the sun and to fire, as well as to what? Air, the indication for the disposal of the body is cremation. That's my legacy. I want to be cremated. Put me in a sweatsuit, we good to go. Preferably red, but yeah. Okay? My choice. Again, I just gave a lesson about the dying man's wishes. Everybody got their will and testament, they dying wishes, whatever it is. Everybody got it. So moving on. But that was original. But in order to know God, here you go. This is the phrase. In order to know God, I just gave this lesson. What? It is necessary, what? To become God. In the Egyptian story of Senuhi, the king who is the symbol of what? Perfect human, being Haru. That's me and you will become what? Enlightened to who we are. That's the concept. And said to have what? In the falcon form, he flown to heaven. And what? He united with the sun disk, the divine body of the king, merging with what? Its maker. That's the concept that everybody has. Every religious concept is that. Okay? Now, this teaching that everybody practices, no matter how you do it, but that don't make you a sun worshiper. Okay, understand that. But this teaching implies what? There is a union and a identification with who? Ra. This thing up in the sky. We can identify with it through what? Dissolution of what? Your ego personality self. The I. You become one with the one. Watch this. Into the essence of Ra, as was explained in the myth of Ra and Aset. I told you. Get excited. But in the Assyrian tradition, the pathway to Ra is what? Identification. How? Through self-knowledge, aka know thyself. If you come to your father, that's who we're supposed to be. You're Haru. You should know who you are. Ooh, I just came up with that concept. I like that one. Yeah, with self-knowledge, it gives you that. So you're practicing to meet your father. Hello, I love that. I didn't think about that. And watch this. And this is why all initiates get the name of who? Asar. When we want to be father to the children, that's not ours. We become what? Their godfather. Get the concept? All right. But Asar was the father of all. And I love when my mother and mom's pray. She called God Father. That just does it for me. All right. But the name Asar, and are you to make the name of Asar, and are to make their given name secondary. Again, Asar, Mark. Asar, P4. Don't make a difference. Asar is first. Okay? Meaning your name, your identity comes second to God. How about that? Oh, I'm just coming with some good ideas. When I learned this, I learned it to emulate it, to practice it, live it. Now I'm teaching it. It's like, wow, I remember that. And it's true. Trust me. All right. That's what makes it so funny to me. I just giggle to myself because I'm freaking out. Now, as Ra is the divinity of fire, cremation of the body. Oh, I want to be birthday. Okay, you don't want to meet God. Okay, that's your choice. But no, you got another choice. Watch this. The cremation of the body is indicated in this tradition. If you're still holding on to that body, you ain't getting the message. Okay, moving on. The burnt body, watch this, is now to become subtle gas that what? Rises up to what? Unite with what? The sun disk. The remaining ashes go back to what? Remain to the earth. Body, physical stays. Subtle spirit rises. In the fire tradition, the body is now what? To become one with the fire as subtle as what? Air, light, like the feathers, right? And the soul is to have what? Power over these elements as it what? Escapes their grasp and moves toward what? The ultimate abode of the higher self. When you see me pointing up, that's God, the universe, whatever, that's higher self, all that's up. You never see me pointing down. If you don't want to be that way, you know what's down there. Simple as that. The devil is you going against what's right. Simple as that. Moving on, that's too easy. But the higher elements of your personality, watch this, become more what? Powerful when? And the power expands what? Your consciousness, your ability to think, and ultimately to what? To the infinite, thereby allowing your personality, watch this, to expand where? Beyond its human confines. The thing in your head can go in time ahead, remember anything in the past, but it's the tool as the ticket to get you where you need to be, which is to know thyself, and that's what it's about. If you think you're just human, that's the ego self, that ain't all you are. And watch this, it helps you what? Expand beyond your human. My man say, think unlimited. You're not human. You're spiritual, divine, spiritual beings having a human experience. And when you leave the confines of your own lower nature into what? Your own true higher nature, aka thyself. And that higher nature is what? Is one with God. Everything is on the one. Don't care. Been doing it for years. George knew that a long time ago. Thank you, my dude. And the earliest known mummies, are believed to have dated back from the early dynastic periods of ancient Egyptian culture. Yeah, but the technique of mummification was later adopted by who? You ready? The Assyrians, the Hebrews, the Persians, early Christians. Early Christian sarcophagi were decorated, watch this, with biblical scenes, just as the early Netarian sarcophagi were decorated with what? Scenes from what? Per Imheru. See? Ain't nothing. We live in the cycle. We're in the cycle of Aquarius. We done been here before, and our ancients knew that. They knew that we're going to be in the information age. Water is information conceptually or symbolically. But you got the Christians, what happened? The Christians forbade cremation because it was believed, there you go, that word again. It was believed that what? The body would not be able to resurrect when? You ready for this? In the end times, when Christ come back, all the body got to raise up. We ain't going there. I'm going to move on. Jews also believed that it was a desecration of the body, and the Muslims also forbade cremation. They followed the Jews pretty much. Okay, so all three of them pretty much think and did the same thing. Why? That was what they was about. Understand that. But they didn't get the message symbolically. They didn't keep tradition. Remember, they told me keep the Sabbath day holy. What they do? Go to Sunday. So they don't give a crap about much. They ain't traditional. As I'm trying to explain to you. They don't hold tradition. Moving on. Oh, I see the clock. All right. Now, as Asar is the god, and he was, you see him green sometimes because he taught agriculture, and they considered him the god of vegetation. And mythologically, when he died, his body served as what? Fodder and fertilizer for all vegetation in the earth. He went back to Gad, which was his father. Okay? Again, this is all mythological conceptualized that when you manifest it or you study it, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Now, to go with something that makes sense to something that you just got to believe that really don't make sense, your choice. Again, got free will. And since every human being, hello, is essentially a soul, just don't know it. That's the part about knowing thyself. If you did that, you would know the indication for the disposal of the body, of a dead body. The dead body. Anybody went to a funeral, see the dead body. We all had somebody die. We all know some. So why this big thing about death? They thought the Egyptians was obsessed with it. No, we just took a casual. Why? It's a part of life. Moving on. Now, in this tradition is burial. They buried the body. The burial should take into account what? Ecological issues. Okay, don't pollute the ground with that nonsense. That's why they bombed the body, took everything out, so everything left just naturally go back into the earth. Okay? And should not be done in such a way as to, again, pollute the environment. They build shrines or mausoleums, and that's created, but these should be in the form of what? Temples. Why? Wherein people and others may come to perform what? Ritual rites. Quick joke. Black guy, Chinese guy. Black guy bought the flowers. Chinese guy bought food. Black guy couldn't help it because the Chinese guy eating, enjoying himself. The white said, yo, my man, you think she gonna come up and eat that food? He said, at the same time, she come up and smell them flowers. Moving on. That's the concept. You do it any way you want. And your right, your religious rights to worship, etc. Everybody got mother, anyone. But this is what it's done for. In other words, ideally, the tombs should be, again, monuments, not to the deceased, but the sanctuary that exalting what said teachings and containing segments of what scriptures from the Bible, like I do now, in which the person believed and lived by, being displayed for all to see and know for prosperity and legacy. Simple as that. But Wright was the right thinking, man. He tried his best. Yeah, that's going to be my legacy. I get that, so that's what I wanted to be. But I got no quotes from the Bible. Why? I want to do the Bible. Moving on. Oh, watch this. Of course, the most profound teachings are always to be what? Reserved for the interior of the shrine. Save it, put it up. And what? Pre-done at the time, the corpse of the deceased, watch this, was not mummified. Mummification is defined as what? The maintenance of a corpse through artificial means. And this practice grew out of a tradition that attached to the practice of the Assyrian religion. Watch this. The idea was that if the image of life on the earth was preserved in the body, then the existence in the afterlife, they knew then there was something else other than earth, watch this, would what also be preserved as well. I'm gonna get you some stuff that I have to argue that one, but okay, I'm listening. I'm gonna find out, see where it's taking me. And this idea is what? Based in part on what? The teachings that everything in creation is a form and image has a name. Okay, I'm listening. This great ancient Egyptian teachings was the basis for much of Plato's work. I know his work. Moving on. Give me some more. Now, if the form and name are given, oh, that's the body, the cot, and the name. I know about that. I'm listening. And there is existence. Okay, that's for the physical. Gotcha. If they use that philosophy, we wouldn't have all these allegorical, fictitious people. They think they lived that really didn't live. Why? You understand it's the mythological, allegorical story. So you're not worrying about them really living. That's why the Greeks tell you we use mythology. So they ain't got a problem with that. Moving on. And watch this. Think about it. If you call an object to mind, you are giving it what? Existence. That's how he came into existence. He uttered himself into existence. Why? The word of power. What we think, well, what we feel, what we think, and then we utter it out into existence. That's how it's always been done. That's the power that God had to give us the same power. And this is what you do, what? When you exercise, what? Your imagination. Okay? Imagination is something before it happened. That's imagine it. And even more so, it's more prevalent when what? You ready? You ready? You dream. However, the extension of the idea into what? The conclusion that preserving the body guarantees existence was this. In the afterlife. They had no clue about the afterlife, but they're saving the body here for that. I'm just saying. But with the image, what's this? Or the physical body. Now, I did a ritualistic service for some Africans. They didn't have the body, they just had the picture. But, okay, conceptually, they do what they do. Again, how somebody worship ain't none of my concern, but I just observe and pay attention. And through, watch this, through truth in part is not the goal of what? The deeper aspects of the Egyptian religion. Why? This teaching is predicted upon the understanding of what? The elements of the human personality that were introduced early. When the physical body dies, here we go, its physical elements will disintegrate and dissolve back to where they come from, the earth. Remember, the physical body's from the earth. It ain't going with you in the next life. The astral body, that's the inside, not the out. Okay? And if that happens, the personality would have what? No concrete image to hold on to. Meaning that ego got to have something to remember. The ego has something to grab onto. Don't need that. What's this? So it would eventually what? Disintegrate too. That's your conscious. That's you dying twice. Okay? If one were to extend, what's this? If one wanted to extend the time after death, meaning you go into the netherworld, but that's not where you're going to stay. Why? A decision being made. That's like going to court. You being weighed, and they're going to decide. You going this way, you going that way. Okay? But watch this. One could do so by what? Having a physical body mummified, and that will what? Serve as the anchor for the individual ego consciousness. What? In what? Time and space. This ain't the end all be all. With that anchor, what happens? That ego personality could now have what? Extended period where in the duat, aka the astral plane, without a body. Okay? And more time to what? Practice by what? Teaching, and by the teaching, learn the teaching, and attain what? Enlightenment. How? Through another body. Instead of disintegrating after some time in what? The astral plane. And then what? Come back to what? Earth. In a what? New carnation, new body, a new mind, a new memory. Why? Because the old one got wiped away. That's why you don't know who you are. However, let me wrap this up. I'm getting there. However, this is only a traditional attached to what? The religion. It is not a mystical or a spiritual idea. I didn't think so. But therefore, initiates should be striving to what? Release all worldly attachments to mortal existence. Nothing here you can take with you while alive. In this time, in this lifetime, families should strive to what? To release the deceased and not promote the sentimental, egoistic attachments to that what? Which is not real. Once the spirit leaves the body, you can talk to like anything is going down. And so therefore, not abiding, but also the deceased should not leave this world, here you go, in anguish over what will happen to their families without them, and so on, so and so. Everybody want to leave the last will and testament, leave something. I ain't leaving you Jack like he left me alone. Sorry. Could care less what you think. How you feel about that? That's just the truth. I'm just giving it to you where you need to hear it. I don't want to argue in a debate. I'm telling you. And what happened? I had an idea here. Okay, see this picture right here? If you're scared to die, that means the deathbed confessions and all that nonsense, that's the mask of Tutankhamun. Excuse me, right here. Okay? But look at the mask of this young lady here. Okay? She's dead. She's going into death. Does she look worried? Does she look frightened? Does she look panicky? Sound like the Mona Lisa, right? But watch them explain it. Look, okay, that's the look of a person who's known themselves and they're going into that other life comfortable with knowledge of self. Hello, bam. Where am I down here? Now, grieving over the loss of a loved one is indicative of what? Life. And we understand that it's an emotional thing. Trust me, understand. And live in what? Delusions. Why? Because where the very basic truth of life, that anyone who what? Don't die. If you understood that, then I take the grieving, the emotional part out. But everyone will die, okay? But was never reflected upon, not facing up to what? One's own what? Mortality. This physical body, we all think that everybody died but us. Oh, country, my friend. Watch this. We don't understand our own mortality in another manifestation of the same problem. Those with true faith and or true insight, what? Into the teachings and the learning concepts, release that form of what? Ignorance. Spiritual ignorance, emotional ignorance. When somebody dies, you just lose your ever-loving mind. For what? Attention. Moving on. Due to ignorance. So, again, when you have ignorant thoughts, and what happened? And we'll work earnestly towards what? The goal of life. To what? If you sincere, you want to discover that which lies where? Beyond death. That's why. If you're scared of dying, you don't know Jack or yourself. But before death actually comes to them, this is the basis of she taught Netta, right there in philosophy, getting you prepared. She was prepared. She didn't freak out. Most people, watch this, are familiar with the death math I just showed you of the Pharaoh Tutankhamun. That's just a golden mask in the ear. That ain't him. The idea of making the mask in the image of the person is, again, to maintain the idea, likeness as the metaphysical icon. That face tells you who he is. There are several masks that have survived, which what display a contentment smile. Right there. That's what she has. Much like the icons of who? The Buddha, the smiling Buddha, which displays a peace and contentment of the soul, and have moved on to what? The higher plane of existence. The Funerary Mass of the Tuyu, that's the young lady right there, 1391 BCE, way before Mona Lisa, okay? And they showed you how they buried the ancient times. The Neolithic period was between 10,000 and BCE, and the deceased was what? They was wrapped in reed mat and placed in simple graves with the body in a parental, watch this, parental position, not the fetal position, laying on one side, the left side, okay, facing east, and the left side, and not stretched out on the back. They lay on that, they lay out. See the difference? Whoever made the change, it was a change, because that wasn't the original way. Okay, watch this. But they got that from Osiris. You see him always mummified, laid out. So, okay, get it. Not stretched out on their back, as in the later times. They were buried with vessels, pottery, that were painted black and red. This pottery is almost identical to what? That which was found by archaeologists in India from where? From the ancient period of the Dravidians, from circa 2500 BCE. So from 10,000 to 2500, they were still pretty much practicing the same thing in another country, which is in India. All right? While it is possible to be exaggerated with funerals, extravagant, and we just lose our mind. I ain't getting to that because he my clock running. I ain't got time for a story right now. I got to get the lesson out. I'm almost home. Now, we go our way with extravagant funerals. Buy all them caskets, waterproof. Man, I can't get over that. Y'all people at the funeral home, boy, y'all some cold people. But it is not necessary, or watch this, or prudent in view of a mystical teachings. The use of coffins, tombs, and elaborate structures came later in the dynastic period. Why? Many of the upper class began to think that they could take it all with them. That's why. Tutankhamun had everything in his damn tomb. We all got it. We got it all, don't we? He ain't here to see none of it. So, you can't take it with you. You can't go to the eye of the needle, and that's the concept of going spiritually. You can't take nothing in the world with you. That's the concept. And watch this. So they had what they call ushakis, which is slave amulets. They had food, jewelry, etc. And guess what happened? They had all that buried with them, right? And what happened? Only to have them all robbed by the grave robbers. The grave robbers had it right. They let you buy a grave and all that, put all your jewels in it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. As soon as you leave, they getting all that stuff. I'm so insulted with my ignorance, and I gave my old man my stuff. I'm still laughing, pissed about that. But the grave robbers, of the tombs, emptied out. And by the time the ecologists got there, now this stuff is in museums all over the world. And their mummified bodies destroyed. Okay? There is no security in this world or any other. Indeed, at any moment, a passing comet or a accidental nuclear war breakout or other possible disasters, hurricanes and whatever we got going on, can destroy this world. And don't think twice about us. Well, if God that's what God is. He don't give a damn about you. That's at least he's concerned. You got bigger fish to fry. But that's the concept. And watch this. And therefore, it behooves the wise aspirant, right thinker, to begin right away to what? Exert your effort, into your spiritual disciplines when daily. So what? So as not to fall prey to the world of this illusionary concept that you gotta have this, you gotta do that, you gotta run around like a fool, a chick with your head cut off. So understand this. I'm closing out with this one. There is no truth or security except in that divinity, which transcends creation and time and space. That's not physical. That's spiritual and mental. You got to be conscious of that. That's the concept. That's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you have a better understanding of this thing, what they do with the body. So, in closing, right thinkers, may y'all live to be 100. Me, 100 minus a day. So I never know that you all passed away. I'll be back. I got more.